Hi, I've decided, this is Dan Sacapano. I've decided to record and videotape the steps that I take to attempt to set up my Google app. Now, I've already set up a project. I've created a project. The name of the project is Alarm Systems Are Us. And the following two steps, 1 and 2, have already been completed. So I'm going to resume from step number 3, and that is this step right here, number 3. I'm going to create my project. And so it tells me step number 3 to go to APIs and authorization. So let me go there now and click on APIs. APIs, and here's APIs and authorization. I'm going to click on APIs. Now I know the next step is to insert a phrase in here, which is this phrase right here. I'm going to copy it and then paste it, so you'll see exactly what I'm doing. I believe this is where it's supposed to go. Okay, now I'm supposed to enable it. It already is enabled. According to this step, I'm supposed to come down to Browse APIs, make sure this phrase is in that field, the box in the search bar, and then under Status, turn on the API by clicking on the Off button. And as you can see, it is already set to on. It had been. That's the status. So the next step is 4, navigate to credentials, and under APIs, now click the Create New button. So I'm going to go to Credentials, and I'm going to click Create New API. But first, let me delete this, okay? This is the old one, my old attempt. I'm going to delete this. Delete Client ID. And I'm going to delete this former API because I want to create a new one. And I think you'll agree that's the proper thing to do as far as I know. So I'm going to create, I think it was create new key button under public API access. So that's where I'm going to go. Create new key button under public API access. So here I go, and I know I'm to select server key, so I'm selecting it. I'm to leave this blank. So, and to just click create. I'm to leave this field or this box blank according to the instructions. Let me verify that. Oh, by the way, you'll see that it never required me to accept the terms of use. I guess it's because I've done it previously already. And then I'm to navigate to credentials, accept requests, click on the server key. Under accept requests from these server IP addresses, I'm to leave it blank, which I've done, leave that field empty. And so I'm going to click the create button now. That's the next step. So I click create. Here's my new API. Let me see. Here it is. Has been created, the API key. All right, the next step is to create new client ID, I'm pretty sure. So under OAuth or authorization, click the create new client ID. So let me go there. Here's the heading, OAuth, create new client ID, and I'm to select a web application. So now it's already, you can see it's the bullet is there by default. I'm going to leave it there. Let me verify the steps. Select web application, which is what is already selected. Web application is already selected. And then click the configure consent screen button. That I have never seen. I do not see a configure select consent. I've never seen a configure consent screen button. So there is none. So I basically, since I didn't see it, I went on to the next step, which is fill out the fields and click the save button. And with these instructions on the new pop-up that appears, set authorized JavaScript origins as your site's URL. So my URL, my site's URL is this. This is the site, alarmsystems.com. So I'm going to paste that. I'm going to copy that. Now, keep in mind, well, I'll hold this. I'll hold my statement for a moment. I'm to take the S out because it's not that protocol. I'm going to leave the www in because the instructions do not tell me to remove it. And watch, this will automatically repopulate according to subject to what I put in here in this box. And it did, I was right. But I believe your instructions show otherwise. So now, please note the S is gone. I still have the www, and here's where I want to make my comment. Your support department had told me previously to leave out the www on both this URL and the bottom URL here, and everything would be all right. Well, that didn't work. I went back and tried that, and it didn't work. But let me go on. Okay. So now, what's my next step? I entered this. I'm gonna read the instructions. Let me see. My next step is this sentence here. I'm going to copy this and paste it for the next field. So here we go. And in here, I'm going to put in my URL. Because it was different than what was on here. Again, remember, when I pasted this in here, it repopulated this box, which your instructions never indicated would happen. So, but it was no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and do this anyway. I'm going to put in my URL. alarmsystemsrus.com. That's correct. And here's what I end up with. Okay. So far as I understand the instructions, I'm doing everything properly. So I click on Create Client ID. It's creating new client. And here my client ID numbers. And here is my API key number. And my next step, of course, is to authorize. Put those codes, those numbers, those keys in to both the API access key and the client ID key. I think the first one would be client ID. Let me do that. I'm going to delete that. I deleted. I'm going to copy the new one I created for client ID. It's this line right here, quite a long line. I'm going to copy that and go to Authority Engage. Now I'm in the Google App Client ID field. I'm going to paste it there. It's there. Now I'm going to delete this and put in my new API public access key, which has been created. It's this key right here. I'm going to copy that and put it in here. Now, here's the big step. I'm going to save all the changes. Everything's fine up to this point, even after I save all the changes. The changes have been saved. Now the instructions state that I should authenticate. Click on authenticate. This is when I always get my error. So here we go. I click on authenticate, and there's the error. Invalid client, no support email. Now, this invalid client and no support email, if you look, and I don't know, I'm just asking you this, the email here, it's coded, it's scripted. That doesn't look like an email address to me, but it's machine language. It's code. So it probably has developer done. That's the wrong email address. That's not my. According to the error, I had the wrong email address, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, that's basically, those are all the steps I take, and I followed the instructions as close as I could. And again, there were some quirks that were not mentioned in the instructions. For instance, this line right here, this URL is different with the wp-admin. It's different than what was found originally in the setup procedure. It's different. So that's as far as I know, and that's That's as much as I know, as far as I'll go. So anyway, I'm done. Please get back to me, and I'm sorry I had to do this. It's a lengthy response, but now you know what I'm going through. You know what I'm done. If I've done and whatever I'm doing wrong, please point it out. Thank you.